Hey everyone, welcome back to the Hollywood Hubbies Film Club. This week we are wrapping up our review of Moulin Rouge. If you haven't already listened to part one, go back and give it a listen. Enjoy. Yeah, so, I think that Harold making his excuse for Satine, we go into your bathroom break song, which is Like a Virgin. I really love this number. um, Does it go on a little long? Yes, I do think it goes on a little long, but because he is my favorite character in the movie, um, I do think that I do like this number a
Hmm.
lot. I read an interview um, that that Jim, the actor, did say that he wished he would have met the male opera singer that they used to cover a lot of Harold Zidler's vocals. So even though Jim did sing, I would say what 80% of the musical probably, there is an opera singer that covered a lot of his bigger, grander vocals. And I had read, yeah, that there was a little interview where he had said he wished that he met him and knew who he was because he thought that he did a great job and that the vocal uh, singer that covered him only, I guess, had about a week to complete the whole project to do it. So I think that's pretty cool.
Definitely. You really hear it in this song, and you really hear it in The Show Must Go On.
Yes, I
Like,
agree.
this one is a sillier song where there were a few moments of operatic notes, but definitely The Show Must Go On, I feel, is almost all this opera singer.
So we get the Like a Virgin number, which you don't love, and then we jump into Come What May very quickly. Does it just bleed into it? I think it does.
Well, after I think after Like a Virgin, you see the moment where she is telling him what Ziedler had told her, which is, we have to end this.
Mm-hmm.
And, he's not taking no for an answer. He knows they're truly in love and he doesn't want to end it. And he said that he's going to write a secret love song into this production of Spectacular, Spectacular, that when it is sung, it confirms their unending and passionate love for each other.
Come What May. So we definitely need to pause here for this number because it is written for the musical.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like this song?
I love this song. It's so beautiful. And I feel like with it being the only new song within a bunch of other songs, I think it fits really well. I don't feel like it sticks out like a sore thumb. I think that it works really well in this musical, and I think that Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor, they sound beautiful together. It's just overall a beautifully written song.
Yeah, I think yeah, the song definitely works. I think you know, there's there's so many moments where duets can actually get boring and I do think that they just did a great job with it. Yeah, there's nothing bad I can say about Come What May. Um does Come What May remind you of any famous duets?
Does it remind me of a famous duet? Not like it sounds similar, but if I were to compare it to a love song from a musical, I would probably say that it reminds me of like All I Ask of You
Oh,
from The
yes.
Phantom of the Opera,
Yes.
Christine and Raoul. Just a very beautiful song that is not boring. I
You
don't think
know,
that it's boring, but a beautiful, well sung song.
yeah, you know what? I've never really thought about that, but I could definitely see that. It is cool too how this movie, I know we said that sometimes this movie is a bit chaotic, right?
Mhm.
But it is cool that they can go from such a silly, comical type of number and then shift into something like Come What May,
Mhm.
like quite quickly. Um
Totally.
so at the final rehearsal, one of the can dancers, Nini, she hints to the Duke that the play that they're representing is really she's tying the pieces together for the Duke, basically being like, hey, the relationship that you're seeing on stage, everything you're seeing on stage, this is what's going on between Christian and Satine. Um, Enraged, the Duke, of course, demands that the show that it be canceled, that that if it's not going to if it's not going to end the way he wants it to end, then he wants it to end with basically the courtesan marrying the Maharaja instead of ending up with the penniless sitar player. So he's basically like letting them know this is how the show needs to end. Otherwise, we're out. We're not doing it. And
And this is the night. This is the day before it's the show's about to go up.
right, right, that's right. That's really
So
funny.
Ziedler and the whole cast and Christian and everybody are just shocked because how are we going to change the ending? We're
Yeah,
going up tomorrow.
yeah. How are we going to change all of this? And then,
This is the big moment also where not only did Nini make have the little slip up and say, "Oh, why would she choose the penniless writer? Oh, I mean sitar player." But then Christian has a similar slip up when enraged the Duke is saying like, "Why would she choose the sitar player instead of the Maharaja?" And he screams, "Because she doesn't love you."
mhm,
Oop, I mean she doesn't love him.
mhm.
So that's, this is the jig is up moment. He
Yeah.
knows that there's something going on between them.
Yeah, and so I think Satine is the one that has to think on her feet and say like, "Oh, I'll promise to like spend the night with you tonight. Let's think on this. Don't just decide everything right away. Buy us some time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's think on this." And so she says like, she'll promise she'll have dinner and spend the night with him that night. And during this whole Satine slipping away off to get ready for the Duke that night, it cuts between their date and the next musical number that happens, which is basically El Tango de Roxanne. Um, this is, not just a big musical song, but it's probably the biggest, maybe the best choreographed number, the biggest choreographed number. Um, this tango number, I have to say, I'm going out on one here and I'm saying I think this is one of the best parts of the film. All of the shots are fantastic. All of the dancing, once again, the close ups, the kind of blue wash lighting mixed with, how grainy it all looks. Everything about this to me, I find it fascinating. But yeah, this is definitely one of the best parts in the film, in my opinion.
Oh, I 100% agree with you. I think that it is probably the best moment in the movie. Not only the actual number, but the leading up to the number, like them all sitting around waiting because, she has to go and now spend the night with the Duke and persuade him back to the original ending. And you know they've got to be ready. Are we changing it? Are we not changing it? They can't
Mm-hmm.
go home, so they're all sitting there in this theater, and you could literally, I feel like you can hear a pin drop.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's talking. It's finally the unconscious Argentinian that gets up and, you know exclaims to Christian like, this is why you never fall in love with a lady of the night, because
Mm-hmm.
this is what happens. And then that's when you get into this amazing number between him, the unconscious Argentini, being played by Jacek Komen. I hope I'm saying that right. And then he decides to have this dance with Carolyn O'Connor. And it is the coolest scene in the movie.
Yeah, if there was an Oscar for best choreography, like clearly this film would have won it. I think, shout out to John O'Connell, because he did choreograph the movie. It is breathtaking. He has choreographed quite a few of Boz's films. Even some of his non-musicals, he's listed as a choreographer, which is pretty cool, which means he probably was used to stage like big group shots or party scenes. I know he's staged for, I mean, he's credited for, like Great Gatsby. And I just, I, yeah, I don't know what else there is to say about how just enchanting all of this is. um, it's funny, some of the scenes between Satine and the Duke when she's being like thrown around the room and everything, at the dinner table. It definitely, I think you mentioned the word vampire when we watched it the other day. Earlier in the movie, during the can, like some of the ladies kind of give that vampire vibe, but this scene definitely gives me a vampire vibe, kind of very Dracula lit.
Oh yeah, this whole
It
scene
could
looks
be,
like it.
yeah, it could be
It's
like a
dark.
Dracula and Mina confrontation,
Hmm.
because it kind of just is, it's giving very dark castle. um,
Yeah.
Even when I was writing the notes, sometimes I would even write castle on accident.
It looks like a castle.
Right?
But yeah, I had mentioned earlier when we were watching it that when you get introduced to the Diamond Dogs and the entire you know the entire dance troupe at the Moulin Rouge, and you see them all dancing with these rich men, there's something very devious about them that I made a joke and said, like, something about this is not right. This looks like this could be a bunch of vampires
Totally.
about to get their prey. But
Totally. It's very From Dusk Till Dawn, or just something
yeah,
very, yeah.
something's a little supernatural here. Um but yeah, going back to how we brought up different close-up shots. I love the close-up shot of Carolyn O'Connor during this tango. They give her the Morticia lighting on her eyes
Oh, yes.
while they're
Mm-hmm.
spotlighting her over his shoulder, but looking at another man, another one of the dancers. But
Mm-hmm.
in this performance, it's she's the lady of the night,
Mm-hmm.
and she's got straying eyes basically.
Mm-hmm.
But that lighting on her eyes is so cool. Like, just little things like that, like, you could literally freeze frame it and it's a piece of art. Like, it is artwork.
So ultimately, she fails to seduce the Duke due to her feelings for Christian. Um, Satine is, yeah, they get into like this fight in the actual, like at the dinner table. I think it's done in a way where, I've seen other sort of like abusive or uh, domestic violence type of scenes, that really do, make me like turn away from the screen, because I do get so uncomfortable with it. But I think,
It's choreographed in a way that, like, it's still scary. Like, if you didn't have the musical number going on and you were watching this, it's not fun to watch. But it's not, you're not watching him literally beat the crap out of her. You are watching her get thrown around. You're seeing him take off the necklace. You're seeing him disrobe her. You know that it's not a good situation for her to be in, and she looks petrified.
yeah, and maybe you're right. Maybe the music and it being edited back and forth with the tango scene, it does help that it sits better with me
I feel
to
like they
watch it.
probably cut out as much as they could. They quick flashed
I
back and
agree.
forth.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was all done as one scene from beginning to end, it would be pretty ruthless.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think the dance number made it a little bit more palpable,
Mm-hmm.
but it is very nice to see him get punched unconscious at the very end before he can do any more to her.
Yeah, so one of the cabaret dancers comes to her aid and knocks out the Duke. Christian then decides that he and Satine will should leave the show behind and run away together. But the Duke, of course, is, vowing to kill Christian at this point. Zidler finds out that Oh no, Zidler finds Satine in her dressing room. She's packing up, and he basically breaks the news to her, letting her know your illness, it is fatal. You're not sick, and
Mhm.
you're not sick, and you're just gonna get over this. It is fatal, and
Well, she doesn't even know that she's sick. I mean, I'm sure she has a clue, but she never really says like, something's wrong. She just faints
and
and
coughs
coughs a
through
lot.
it.
But I do want to talk about both of these scenes. The first being after this confrontation when she goes to Christian's apartment and falls into his arms and tells him, I couldn't do it. I could, I saw you from the window and I knew I couldn't do this. And he was so angry. And, this scene and the scene after with her confrontation with Ziedler, her crying and her acting, it's just so raw. And this kind of goes back into what we talked about, like the dichotomy of like how silly this movie is and how serious certain moments are and how raw certain moments can be. And she does it so well. She can play the musical parts, she can play the zany parts, but then these moments really prove like how raw and how deep she took herself into this role.
You know, I will say, I truly just did not get drama from this musical before just recently watching it. I've seen this movie countless times, and I never really got the serious and the drama of it all. I really watched it and have digested it in such a different way. And maybe it is because I am older, or I'm looking at things from more of a technical standpoint now, like seeing something and realizing that even, let's say, Nicole couldn't carry a tune, they were going to cast her in this role because she knows what she's doing on an acting level.
Mm-hmm.
So I think seeing it older, I did digest this film in a different way, which is really cool because we're doing this podcast, and even though we've seen a movie 1,000 times, we are still appreciated it in a different way.
Mm-hmm. So Ziedler tells Satine, "You're dying."
And and that the Duke is planning on killing Christian, and that if she wants Christian to live, she has to cut things off completely with him and be with the Duke. Um, so, mustering up all of her acting abilities, she complies and she has to break it off with Christian and leaves him devastated. And we cut into the next big number, which is the show must go on.
Mm-hmm. Or we lead into that scene with this number.
Yeah, and again, before going into the song, I'll let you take the song part of it. I have to say, cinematographer um, Donald McAlpine, uh, I have to say, like, honestly, wow. I think that this cinematographer is literally, I don't know how else I can say, you're stuck to the screen, and even if you did have the volume on mute, you can appreciate how smart and wonderful all of these shots are. He has worked with Boz before and did Romeo and Juliet with him. He also did Hogan's Peter Pan. I don't know if anyone was a fan of the 2003 Peter Pan that came out. I believe that's the non-Disney attached one. But he did that, and
Wait, what year did that come out?
2003.
Oh, I love that movie.
It is shot very like this, don't you
Mm-hmm.
think? It is done in a way where he has a way of blending a really cool fantasy with reality vibe to things. And yeah, I just think he's genius.
Yeah, you're not really giving like reality. You're giving fantastical. You know what you're looking at is not real, but it adds to the fantasy of it.
Yeah.
Like in this movie, you're not really getting real shots of Paris. You're getting a 2D
Yeah,
backdrop.
exactly.
Or like in that Peter Pan, you're not really, a lot of it is giving more make believe than
Yes.
say like you're not really on an island.
Yeah, so like art direction combined with Donald's cinematography on this, I just had to mention it because the show must go on. It is shot just so beautifully. There's a lot of cool cuts between the different characters that are going through their emotional journey simultaneously at this time. And also, fun little fact before I throw it back over to you, babe. he was the cinematographer of Mrs. Doubtfire. Random, but I saw that and I know that's one of your favorite films. So
Looks nothing alike. So
I was like, oh, most known for, and of course it was Boz's films and films that he's won Australian awards on, and of course they also list Mrs.
very
Doubtfire.
interesting.
But the song.
Well, I love this number. I love this song. If we're going into the cinematography and the way that it's shot, I love that as she's preparing herself to, as Satine is preparing herself to go and have this final goodbye with Christian, they're setting up the stage behind her for this opening night.
Mm-hmm.
So it's almost like, you know, preparation for the stage and preparation for probably the biggest acting feat of her life, because she has to make this guy believe that she's not in love with him anymore and that she's going with the Duke. So it's just kind of cool seeing her put her poker face on and prepare herself for this role, and then you're seeing them prepare the stage behind her for opening night.
Right.
So it was very, I know that was the whole point. It's not like some secret Easter egg, but it went really well
Oh yeah.
together.
Yeah. It's cool when you can have characters in different thought processes going on. And it's all kind of just unraveling during the same musical moment, with all of them chiming in with different lyrics to the song. You know,
Speaking of lyrics,
yeah, well,
I said
would
go.
No, you go.
I had asked you because I don't listen to this song a lot, the real version. So I didn't know how much of the lyrics were from the original song and how many were maybe tweaked a little bit for the movie.
Mm-hmm.
But when she says, my makeup may be flaking, ugh, like what a visual. I don't know. I just think of like layers of like old makeup just like cracking off of someone's face. It's such a gross visual to hear.
Well, that's what it is. That's what it is. You're like, gross.
It's gross.
This is my mom's favorite song. Well, actually, I take that back. Your song, my mom really, really loves, but she also really loves The Show Must Go On. But she's a huge Queen fan. So, you know, I think that I listened to Queen a lot growing up. And I listen to the original version often. But yeah, I love it. I think they did a great job with it.
Definitely. So we then go into the scene. Satine tells Christian she's not in love with him. She's going to leave with the Duke. You also see this really sad moment when, in the rain, Christian is crying at the doors of the Moulin Rouge. They won't let him in. They throw him down. He gets punched in the face. It's all very sad, and you can tell he's cracked. You know, similar to the tango scene where the Argentinian says jealousy will drive you mad. He has snapped. It's literally broken him. And then we get into opening night of Spectacular, and the madness that ensues, basically.
The madness of opening night. The madness. The big song that we get for Spectacular is called Hindi Sad Diamonds. It is a musical mix between Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend and a song called Chama Chama. So Chama Chama is a Hindi song sung by Indian singer Alka Yagnik. While we hope that, and I'm sure that Baz Luhrmann wanted this to be a celebration of the Indian culture and the style of dancing. You know, I'm assuming that the choreographer did his research and enlisted, you know, an Indian folk choreographer to help him stage it. I mean, we're hoping this.
I do want to be delicate with this situation because I know that things that were filmed maybe even just 23 years ago would probably never be done today. And if they were, I don't think that we would be seeing it done by a group of white actors. I think that the scene would have been, a celebration of this culture done by people of that culture.
Yeah, at least a blend or someone in charge that's running the ship.
Yeah, I could see that. But so there's part of me that looks back and I go, "Oh my god, this is one of the most beautiful scenes to look at." Like if I'm looking at it as we will right now in the eyes of 2002, that is my thoughts, but it is nice to preface with, there's a very slippery slope between appropriation and appreciation, and we just want to shine a light on that you know there are probably things that were filmed in movies before that maybe wouldn't be wouldn't be done today, or they would have been done a little bit differently. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that that's put really well.
And I do know that on stage, when they decided upon this plot and this final number, they did change it from it being a performance with a Hindi song to just a play about a French writer and so on. So they made it a little bit closer to the plot of Moulin Rouge. And I think they did that for that exact reason, that they didn't want to offend anyone by possibly appropriating this culture. But now, if we go into reviewing the movie and talking about this number, I would like to say that it is one of the most beautiful visually numbers. Like
Yeah, it's eye
bright,
candy.
bright,
It is eye candy.
sparkly, the costumes, the sets. It is like a big budget, beautiful number. And yeah, it's just stunning to look at.
Yeah, it actually is very reminiscent of a classic musical stage number. I mean, you could shoot that in one long shot and not have to do a whole bunch of different takes or close-ups. I mean, it really is done in such a big, bold, classical music way.
I would love to see like raw footage of them filming it from beginning
Mm-hmm.
to end, because I know they
Mm-hmm.
had to cut a lot of the backstage drama of
That's
what's
going
going
on.
on. You've got to get into Christian getting inside the theater, trying to make his way towards Satine and all of this. So you're seeing a lot of back, the front of the stage and backstage drama.
Right. So in front of the full audience, Christian denounces Satine and vows to give her the Duke before walking off the stage. I mean, we get to that point before all the chaos is going on, or do we get the chaos first before that? I
No,
can't remember.
this is just the intro. The play has started with the unconscious Argentinian playing the sitar player. He
Oh,
then
right, right.
passes out backstage.
Yes, yes. There you go.
Then Christian has broken backstage and he's going to find Satine and he wants to have this, final discussion with her. He wants to finally, denounce his love for her, throw money at her. He wants to make her hurt like he's hurting.
Right, and does all of that on stage.
No, no, no. I'm saying they have the conversation backstage, or he's trying to start the conversation and then boom, they're right there where the
Yes.
doors open.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember that.
And
Yes.
then the lights are on. Everybody, the dancers, the actors, Ziedler, the audience, everybody sees Christian and they're like, who the hell is this? And that's when Ziedler, just thinking on his feet, says, you cannot fool me. This is the sitar player. He's shaven his mustache and he dons a disguise, but he's just trying to get us through this because now we have Christian on stage. And that's when he finally throws the money at Satine and says, I've paid my whore, and he leaves. He walks through the audience. He's like he's gunning towards the front door.
Is she, and she's the one that starts singing "Come What May," like the reprise to like
Mm-hmm.
get his attention, right?
Mm-hmm. And this is watching this scene. It's so interesting because I do like that. Like as pretty as this scene is, we now go into there's no touch ups on Nicole. There's no, like, her makeup is smudged, her tears are going down her face. Like, we get it's interesting that we just went from this really beautiful like opening number till now, like, again we get this really sad raw moment, and they did not try to like touch her up or anything. You've
Mm-hmm.
got wet, sad, tear streaked face,
Mm-hmm.
and then she starts singing the Come What May reprise, and then gets he starts singing it back to her from the audience, knowing that this is their love song, and that she's again proving that she does love him.
And after they end up on stage together, that's when like all chaos ensues.
Yes, because as all this is happening, and as he's trying to go backstage, even before seconds before he goes on stage, the Duke's handler is chasing him behind the scenes with a
Mm-hmm.
gun, and he's trying to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's on stage, he can't really do anything, but then, you know, Toulouse knows that he's trying to kill him, so he screams that there's a gun being thrown around.
Yeah, other cast members are trying to knock him out.
Yeah, they're like kicking this gun around, and it turns into this whole scene.
Yeah, even the Duke ends up with the gun thrown out there into the audience, and he runs up there to go, or he runs towards the stage, and Ziedler knocks him out. I mean,
Yeah,
full chaos.
full chaos. We get the final number, which is wait, what after Come What May? Is that the very end? Because I know that the unconscious Argentinian pops up, and then they're both on stage together, but we're not supposed to really care that now there's two sitar players up there, and then they
Yeah.
sing that final
The
no matter what you
Yeah,
whatever.
it's like
is it the
freedom, beauty.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like that mixed with Come What May, mixed with probably two other songs. And
as all this is happening, the Duke is running towards the stage with the gun to finally shoot Christian, and that's when Ziedler knocks him in the face. The gun flies out, goes through a window, and hits the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, and the moon's watching.
Yes, the moon is there.
Watching. And he like storms off at the end, right?
That's the thing. That's another thing I wanted to bring up before we get into the ending.
Or does he just pass out?
No, he gets punched out, and I think he just like walks away. But me always thinking about the aftermath, he still owns the rights to he still owns the deeds to the Moulin Rouge. So it's not like he's going anywhere.
Yeah, and let's not forget also back on stage, Satine is dying in Christian's arms.
No, I was going to say that too, is that like, so he didn't get her, but then guess what? Nobody did, because she's dying on stage. So I'm wondering, my brain automatically goes to after the next day or whatever. Like, does he have to have this awkward conversation with Ziedler? Like, oh, Satine died? And like, as much as he loves her, like, the Duke is not a good person. So I wonder, like, is he going, all right, well, Satine died. Like, who else do you got?
Yeah.
Like, can you set me up with China Doll?
Probably, or Nini. Like,
yeah, like, or whoever. Like, I don't see him really being too sad about it. And then,
agree.
Yeah, does he just say, okay, let's keep this show going with an understudy? Like, because it's not, they show it like this punch means something like they've won and the Duke has lost, but no, the Duke still owns the Moulin Rouge.
Mm-hmm.
So my brain goes to like, what happened after? Like, does he have to, like, do they have to figure out like who he's now going to court?
Probably.
And like, are they going to be the lead in this production?
I think
Is he
so.
going to finally get his ending? I don't know. I digress, but
I mean, I think so, right?
It has to be.
Now, what would have been cool if they would have wrapped it up with Christian finishing the story, and the person who produces the story is the Duke. Now, that would have been a cool moment.
What do you mean?
Well,
you mean his book?
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Why would the Duke work with him?
For money. to make it a successful book. Like they could have put a
You know,
pin.
you really like these like bad characters to be good. Like I think
Well, I
why
mean,
would he
not
sign his book over to the guy who was trying
for
to kill him?
money, for to be
But they're
successful.
bohemians.
Christian
They're
needs to
like they're
live.
not.
Christian needs to live.
He can live with someone else. He doesn't need to sign his book over to the Duke.
I
You just
guess.
want you
I'm
just
just
want the
saying.
Duke to have a
I'm
good
just
life.
saying. If you would have had a good ending to the movie that wasn't
Oh.
just chaotic, like they could have been full circle. Where
Well, we haven't got to the end of the movie yet.
well, we're there.
Yeah.
We're there. I mean, she dies, and
Well, I wanted to talk about that as well. I do think that that scene is very heartbreaking. They finally have this final moment. She passes out.
every Nicole Kidman scene to you in this movie is like some big Oscar nominated moment, which she was nominated
No,
for an
this
Oscar.
scene she was nominated, but I was actually going to point out Ewan McGregor in this scene because after she dies in his arms, this moment of his cry, it's not a pretty cry. It's not a pretty sound. Like he really went full out with this cry. It is a guttural pain that you hear, and he doesn't. It's almost like obviously Christian doesn't care, but Ewan McGregor didn't care about like trying to make this sound
Theatrical.
theatrical or good. Like it sounds like he like a real man lost his real wife or his real girlfriend. Like it's a guttural horrible, like almost like you have to turn away because you're looking at someone's pain. Like it's like awkward. It's almost awkward to watch because you're like, oh my god. Like to me, it's a very I hate using the word raw again, but it's a very like raw scene in this spectacle of a movie.
So he was the one that was giving it for you.
In this scene, yes, I like that was his that scene to me was just so tragic and heartbreaking because it was such a real cry. It was a real ugly cry.
Well, he didn't get an Oscar nomination, so you're the only one that thought that.
Whatever. I liked it.
No, I do think that he does a great job in this, and that final scene too.
And then it is cool before we get to him finishing his book, they tie it back to the beginning because if you've never seen Moulin Rouge before and you just see uh Toulouse up there on from the window singing Nature Boy. You have no idea why he's dressed like that. He's just got paint on his face. He looks very like, what's he wearing? Kind of like what is this that we're looking at? And then right before we get to the present day again, you're wrapped up with seeing, oh, it's Toulouse in his sitar outfit at the top of the theater. Satine has just died. He's got, I believe,
Yeah,
makeup
his
makeup
paint.
streaks down his face, and you realize, oh, that he's wearing his outfit from the show, and he's singing this song. And they give you maybe a line or two of him beginning Nature Boy, and then you now go into Christian again sitting at his typewriter, typing out the final lines to his book before we see him type the end. Did you have thoughts on this ending?
No, I think it's cool how they visually. It's cool how they wrap it all up, and then the Nature Boy like reprise, kind of
Mm-hmm.
like pulling us out of it.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I think all of that is done really
Mm-hmm.
well. I'm not trying to be a complete just like, okay, like we get it, but yeah, sometimes I'm just saying Satine's slow death through the entire movie, it does by the end drag on me a little bit. I am kind of like, let's move it along, you know what I mean? But I'm not trying to be a complete like I don't what's the word I'm trying to use?
Heartless.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to be completely heartless about it. I'm not like rooting for the villains here.
Sounds like you are. You want him to.
Well,
you want him
it's
to
just
sign Christian,
it's just
take his book, make
I
millions of
don't
dollars off of
know.
it.
There's something about like in the real world, like is this real? But it's not real. It's obviously it's a fantasy world. But yeah, there's just something about like I don't know. it does drag on a little bit long at the end, which is crazy to me because I think the beginning is so chaotic and fast that they could have used a little bit more of that. I think at the ending where they could have wrapped it up with a better
There's
type
no
of
happiness at the
montage.
ending. That's why I feel like it kind of leaves you with that sad, like that sadness at the end, because you literally just see her die. He finishes his book. I guess maybe that could be considered like he did finish his piece of art, like he did get to write his story and like tell this
Yeah.
story of their love. But it's just like, yeah, but maybe we did need like a moment, like a Little Women moment where like Joe goes to the go, goes to the to
The
go sell her
sea or
book
something.
and actually
Oh,
go and
oh,
get it
yes.
published, because you kind of just see him like sitting there in clothes that he's probably been wearing for a year. He's depressed. And then he just finishes his book and it's the end, and you're just kind of like, that was really sad.
Yeah, I mean, I gosh, it's really interesting doing these reviews because looking at it now, it's like, do I like this movie simply because of the technical aspects of it? Do I just
Maybe
think,
you, but I like it.
yeah,
I
like, do
like
I
it
just
because
not
it
even like the plot that much? Maybe I don't. Maybe I do think it's kind of a drag sometimes. And
I don't
maybe
think it
that's why
is.
I think that's why maybe I have kind of forgotten the whole like, oh yeah, this movie is a drama because I really am interested in how cool it all looks and how cool all the songs are, but in regards to the story, maybe I really don't like this that much. I mean, you get what I'm saying. Hopefully the people listening are getting what I'm saying, but
No,
maybe I just
they're
like
nudging each other, going, "Who's the asshole?" I'm
right,
just kidding.
right,
I'm
right,
kidding. That's a Kathy Griffin joke that I love.
right. Yeah, it's like, geez, I don't know. Maybe I don't like the plot of this that much.
No, you just want
Don't tell me what I want.
no, I am agreeing with you. I don't think it's that you don't like the plot. It's that you want um what's that word I'm looking for? Not corporate. What's consumerism? You just want people to make money. You don't
No,
you don't want the love story. You
I
just want a like consumer, let's get the Duke to buy this book and make
not
millions.
just that though. Not just that. It's kind of like the Devil Wears Prada. I really like the Devil Wears Prada movie, and then we get to the end of the movie, and Anne Hathaway is like, "I'm gonna go write for a local newspaper instead of being part of this like global magazine." Give me a break. That's not happening. This is not happening in the real world. People are not doing that. People are, yes, absolutely. Of course, I want to be involved in this. And so I don't know. That is just my look at it. But you know what? I think you're right. I think it's probably a very asshole way of looking at things.
Ugh.
And I'm probably yeah, I think I'm just realizing maybe I just don't love the plot as much as I thought that I did. Um, so yeah,
All right, so now that we've reached the end of this extremely depressing movie, Matt,
that we fought each other about. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, gosh, we like none of the same things. No, I'm just kidding. We actually liked a lot of it, but you just don't like the plot because you want the Duke to win. Weirdo. Um, so what was your favorite overall thing about the film? I think we all know
Yeah, I
that
think
it wasn't the plot.
yeah, it wasn't the plot. No, I think that technically it was really amazing. Cinematography, unbelievable. I think that the design of it all was so beautiful. Yeah, I just think the art design and the cinematography, everything about the technical stuff, I am here for. What about you, babe? Favorite overall thing about it?
Um,
It is tough for us to pick just one thing, but if there was just a highlight, the
well, you
highlight
said
thing.
the cinematography, so I think I'm going to go into, and I'll briefly touch on what I said earlier, which is just that the cast of this film is so talented, especially the leads, just because if you had with how silly moments are, but there's also such great dramatic moments. If you had an actor who really didn't have that range, I feel like it would come off as very soapy and melodramatic. The two leads, or the entire lead cast, they just did a really good job of uh having a grasp on the overall well-roundedness of these characters. Like they're you have to run the full gamut of emotions, from completely silly to totally sad as we get to the end.
So overall acting from leads to supporting, that's your
Yes, they all did very well. What was your least favorite thing? I hate that the Duke didn't win.
No, no. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I had one thing listed that it can be really like choppy in some moments, especially like the beginning of the film. The beginning of the film can get very choppy and kind of throws you into everything very fast paced. But you know what? I think I've changed my mind. I think it might be a lot of the plot. I don't know if I like the plot that much. I'm not
Okay,
sure.
okay, okay.
What about you? What's your least favorite thing?
Well, I'll agree with you with the ending, because I do remember the first time I watched it at home, I was just like, "What is going on?" Like, it was just like boom, boom, boom. Um, yeah. So I guess it just, but on the other hand, it just makes me very curious what the director's cut of this movie was. Like, how much of this was thought out, and how much of this movie is too long. We have to get things going. We got to get things moving and grooving. But yeah, that's probably it. The beginning, just to
How
get
choppy it
to
all
get
is.
us to the Moulin Rouge, is like very quick. It's a quick
Yeah, I
it's a
think
quick chop.
Yeah, I think there are some moments where it does get a little chaotic. Um,
How do you feel about the legacy of it, and how do you think it impacted you or culture in general?
well, I think that it goes without saying that Baz Luhrmann really made musicals cool again for film.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know how else to say it. I think him as a director, his style and everything that he did, it really opened up the eyes of studios to start giving more opportunities and shots for things that were more creative. And yeah, as weird as it is, I think especially being a, you know, theater kid, I don't know what else to say other than thanks to Boz for making musicals cool. I mean, I think he really did a good job at that. I think that um
I think if this movie had failed, we would not have gotten or at least not for a while. I don't think we would have gotten Chicago. I don't think we would have gotten Mamma Mia. I don't know. This is just my theory, but yes, this movie was a box office success, and it also was an Academy success with all of the nominations that it received. So I think that you're right. He made it cool, and he made it cool again.
it's kind of like the Jonathan Larson Rent movement that happened. You know, there was a surge in Broadway musicals being cool and
Hmm.
being
Edgy.
edgy. Yeah.
It didn't have to just be like, let's do another revival of Carousel
Yeah.
or Oklahoma. And not saying that those aren't well loved musicals, but just taking it to a different level of like, we can make something that's also a musical, but it can be cool and edgy and modern.
Yeah, I think that's the coolest thing about all of this.
Yeah, so I
Um
agree with you.
I think that we also should put a stamp on something else that came out of this movie, which was revolutionary.
Oh my gosh, yeah, we didn't get much of we got a little bit of the song in the movie, but the soundtrack and the number one pop sensation that was the remake of Lady Marmalade with Christina Aguilera, Lil Kim, Maya, and Pink. I think that this moment in pop culture, there have been moments where they've tried to duplicate it, but has never been duplicated successfully. To get four of the biggest names in pop together to make one single and have it be the phenomenon that it was, I don't think we'll ever see anything like it again.
Yeah, I think that that alone had a big stamp on how people were branding singles that were being released on movie soundtracks. Because when you do look back at this, early 2000s era, there were movies that were really trying their hardest to put that stamp on, not necessarily this is a Billie Eilish single that we hope is going to get an Oscar nomination. Not so much thinking like that, but thinking more like we're going to get Destiny's Child to be on the Charlie's Angels soundtrack.
Hmm.
Things that were in a way to pull in how can we get a song on the top of the charts, which as you said, the song was pretty amazing for its time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everyone. Well, time to spin our wheel for the next episode's movie selection. Here we go.
All right. So next week's movie is going to be 1935's Top Hat,
Top Hat. Okay.
starring Ginger Rogers and Fred Astaire.
Cannot remember, cannot say if I've ever seen it before. This may be my first.
I think I've seen many a clip online
Oh, uh-huh.
of the dances. I think that the dance numbers are pretty iconic. I can't tell you what this movie's about
Oh,
because
good.
I don't think I've seen it in a very long time.
Nice. All
But
right,
so I'm
everyone.
excited.
So go out and watch Top Hat wherever you can find it. Um, Thank you so much for listening in on today's episode of Moulin Rouge. We appreciate all the support. It's been really cool seeing everyone's stream counts. Obviously, once again, we're going to throw it out there. Please leave comments on different platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube. Throw in some comments. Let us know how you think things are going. But we really do, appreciate everybody for listening in.
Definitely. I mean, we do have to get all of the movie titles from this list, but at some point we are going to move on to other movie musicals, and you can leave what your favorites are, what movie you think we should do, um, you know, different little tidbits that you may know knowledge wise from these movies that you might want to share. I would love to see and hear them all. So, yeah, thank you so much for listening in, and
And see you guys on our next episode. Take care.
bye.